Yeah, I've probably always drawn. It's like something I always enjoyed doing as a kid. And then as I got older, I kind of like would just drawing would just be something I did, like going out and like playing army or like skateboarding or riding bikes. It was just something fun to do. When I first got into pen and ink, I was like probably like 14 or 15, and I was like just kind of getting into skateboarding. And like I saw like this ad with like Hot Rod Art and Thrasher, and I was just like, that's sick. It was like a goon on a skateboard. And from there I was just drawing that, and then like punk album art and stuff, like old like Suicidal Tendencies art with just like skulls and monsters and all that, you know. And a lot of that stuff was done in pen and ink, and I just felt like the look was so bold. It was on from there. I've always had like a really supportive family with the art, like always got art supplies for birthday or Christmas. My Aunt Gail, like she's an artist, like a watercolor painter, and she was always super supportive of me and like my dad and my mom, you know.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I would say like the kind of art that really like influences me would be like just like pure California art, like 60s and onward, maybe even like 50s and onward, like just like degenerate lowbrow art, like that started with like, you know, like Ed Big Daddy Roth and like Robert Williams, and then like the Zap comic artists and like psychedelic poster artists like Rick Griffin and Stanley Mouse, like a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, I think when I was like, I never really like made the connection until recently, but like all these things sort of separately were influencing me around the same time. And like it really started with like Ed Roth, like Rat Fink stuff. But like all that stuff, like just seeing that like would just like really stoke me out to see like monsters. And then like when I was like 19 years old, my dad brought me a comic book, and like it was Zap Comics, and I was like, what the fuck, like this shit's wild. And it was like a reprint of an issue from like the 70s. And like when I saw like the way like dudes were doing pen and ink in there, like I'd never seen that before, and I was just like, what the fuck, you know. It just blew my mind, and I was like, from there on I was super into it. Yeah, I go by SAD, and when I was like a kid, I used to sign sad on my artwork because I like wanted to be like a cool graffiti dude, and I was like skate and destroy. But then as I just like continually signed that on my art over the years, and then eventually I was like, kind of want to change it, so I just went with the like phonetic version of like spelling it out as like SAD. Skateboarding has been a big part of my life since I was like 13 years old. So I've always, you know, like loved skateboard art and like the attitude of like skateboarding, especially like when you're a kid. It's kind of like anti-authoritarian, and like you just kind of don't give a fuck, and you're just all about like tearing it up, you know. And like that definitely is like the carefree essence of skateboarding, I would like to say, is in my art. I think in an abstract way music inspires me. Like I always like to put something on the turntable while I'm drawing, you know. The music helps a lot, and like the different types of music I'll listen to will like affect the way I draw. I can't just like put Obituary on and like jam to death metal. I have to like put on like some jazz or like, you know, some chill hip hop or something. It's gotta have some flow. I'm working on a zine right now to like just like a collection of drawings done super like old school Kinko style, like that I could just, you know, give out my art, and everyone could have like cool little booklet, you know, if they're interested in some of my latest stuff. Like when I make my art, like there's definitely a vibe that comes through, and it's just like, you know, I like it to be strange and creepy, but at the same point like carefree and like obnoxious and like kind of goofy. You know, just like a dude flying down on a skateboard with like a beer in his hand, you know, like wings coming out of his head and, you know, slime everywhere. This is a pretty recent piece I did, and this is like, I did this just a few days ago, and I don't know, I just like, I was like really feeling, you know, like drawing a goon. This is a skateboard deck I did for this small startup skate company in Castro Valley. There's a small Bay Area company called Weirdo. You know, he liked my art because it had like a weird sci-fi kind of vibe, and he wanted me to do this zombie for him, and we just came together and made it happen. It's in production right now, so I don't know how many shops he's in, but it's definitely, you could buy it on their website. Weirdo Skateboards, and this is the original art. It took me a lot of times to get this done. Sometimes like I'll work on a piece and it will like, I'll have to screw up like 3 or 4 times before I get the way I like it. You know, sometimes you just, unless you can really visualize what's gonna happen, you take a lot of chances.